Woohoo! Welcome back to the studio. I'm CHALTO. Today I want to introduce you to the dark arts of parallel processing. Parallel processing is one of those things that when you understand it, it opens your mind to infinite possibilities. It's super versatile, it's super fun, and you can apply it to almost anything. But if you don't really know or understand what parallel processing is, imagine you have a beautiful backyard with a beautiful creek running through it. And let's say this Sunday is your pet giraffe's birthday party and her favorite color is pink. There's only one problem. Back at the watercolor store, they only have bright red and she hates red. So what do? You go to your backyard and you divert a little bit of water into this, let's say, color box, okay? In this color box, you're gonna apply the red color and then you're gonna mix the red color little by little into the creek again until you get the desired color, the favorite color of your pet giraffe. This is great because you can not only control the amount of color you're gonna mix into your creek, you can also control the timing, when you go super red, when you go little by little, and when you can go like the perfect pink for when, I don't know, the blowing of the candle. This is exactly what we do with parallel processing in audio. You divert a little water from your main creek, let's say your vocals, and this is what we call a send. You're sending a little bit of water into your color box. This color box is anything you can think of. It could be a compressor, it can be a reverb, it can be a delay, it could be a phaser, it could be a combination of all of them or even more. And then when you have your colored water, or let's say your vocals with whatever effect you want, then you mix it little by little into the mainstream or your main vocals until you have the desired color. And this is exactly what happens with parallel processing. You're taking a little bit of your vocals, you're applying this new color in this color box, let's say a delay unit or a compressor or distortion or whatever, and then you're mixing it back into the mainstream, which is like your vocals. So it's a very versatile thing, but today I'm going to show you on vocals. Here in Studio One, I have an 8-bar loop that sounds like this.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on.
This is our vocal. This vocal is going into the lead bus where I'm doing like some processing, not a lot. And here in my sends, you can see we have all of these diversions to different color boxes. And I have my color boxes here in a folder. So this is how you usually would apply a reverb or a delay. So let's take a look at those first, and then we can go a little bit crazier. So here we have an Echo Boy, which is like my favorite delay ever.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on.
So if we go back into our backyard, this fader of our color box is effectively how we're mixing back into the stream. So that's how your water is coming back into the stream already with color. So this is how you would decide how much effect you wanted. So
I don't,
more effect,
I don't,
less effect.
I don't let go when every.
The same thing with reverb. Here I have a plate.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on.
And the same thing, more effect,
I don't let go.
less effect.
I don't let go when everybody's moving.
Okay, this is the first critical point. Some people like to change the amount of effect by changing the send instead of the return. I don't like doing that because there's a lot of plugins that are very sensitive to input gain. Let's say compressors, distortions, and even some like delays and reverbs that have like some analog modeling in them will sound different if you run them hotter. Okay, now let's go with the sauce. The cool thing about this is that you don't have to stick to one effect. You can actually stack different effects. This is an effect that I call the sauce, which is, as you can see, is a delay, not completely mixed, going into a reverb, which is 100% wet. And then I have a little bit of EQ to clean it up because I don't want the low end. And this sounds like this.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on.
Okay, the next one I like to call slam, which is basically a de-esser. I'm using Soothe here. You can use any type of de-esser. An EQ. As you can see, I'm taking a lot of the top and a lot of the low. And then I have a 1176 slammed. It's like very, very, very slammed. Here.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on. I don't let go.
You can hear when you're subtle, it gives the vocal this body that it didn't have before. This is very useful for, there are some vocals that when they get above a range, they get really, really thin. So what you can do is like use this to thicken up only that part, and I'll show you how later. All right, the next one I call high is just an alto boy, which is a pitch shift with a Foreman control. It's all like an octave up, and it sounds like this.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on.
You can hear that if you're like very subtle, you don't actually hear the effect, but if you take it out, you notice it. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to be very subtle, sprinkle a little bit here and a little bit there, and it will make your entire mix sound very dynamic and very, very professional. All right, the next one is low, which is exactly the same, but the other way around.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving.
And the use for this is the same. Just be very subtle in the background so it thickens up your voice and gives it more weight. The next one I like to call the H6, which is basically just a doubler.
I don't let go when everybody.
Here I'm using the isotope doubler, 100% effect only. The key is to be very subtle, and it will give you a nice wide vocal. If you go overboard, you're going to start to sound like you have a chorus on your vocal. And the last one that I'm going to show you guys is distortion, which is one of my favorites.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on.
As you can see here, I have a de-esser, then I have a decapitator, which is a distortion, and then I have an EQ. This is a critical point. For distortions and compression, always try to de-ess before going into the effect, because inevitably that's going to like exaggerate any noise that you have, especially S's and T's and P's. So make sure to treat that before going into the effects so that you are not adding more noise to your final mix, and that's not going to be good. Let's hear it.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on.
All right, so this is where the fun begins. When you have a bunch of these and you can start playing and getting cool sounds on your vocal.
I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on. I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on. I don't let go when everybody's moving on. I still hold on when everybody's moving on. I don't let go when everybody's moving on.
Okay, so this is now when all the fun begins. When you start to use automation to bring those effects in and out in different parts of the song, or you can do ramps, or you can even like use them on just different words. One of the favorite things that I like to do, especially with the lows and highs, is accentuate some words. So
I don't let go when everybody's moving on.
we want to do the moving on. Let's do the whole moving on, the low. So we'll be kind of like
when everybody's moving on.
a little bit more.
When everybody's moving on. I still hold on.
The hold on, we want to actually use the high.
When everybody's moving on. I still hold on.
That's too much, but let's bring it down.
hold on when everybody's moving on.
And then you can, on this moving on, let's bring this and let's bring the low on the on.
Hold on when everybody's moving on.
All right, now let's say this last phrase, you want to ramp up the intensity, give like a little bit of distortion.
Hold on when everybody's moving on.
Like go even crazier.
Hold on when everybody's moving on. Hold on when everybody's moving on.
And that's it, really. It's that easy. You can take this and you can apply it to anything you want. You can apply it to drums, you can apply it to bass, you can apply it to guitars. So take this, be creative, have fun, make me proud, and I'll see you next time. Let me know what's your favorite color. Mine's definitely